Okay, students. So today we can learn about the construction of a dams. Okay. So yesterday we have discussed what you mean by a dam. Dam basically it is a solid barriers which is constructed across a river valley for properly directing the flow of water. Okay, so it can be used for hydropower, it can be used for the irrigation, domestic purpose, it can be also used for controlling floods and droughts. Okay, now coming to the geological factors which is considered the selection of a site. Okay, so you might have seen the site, say this is a dam. So as in the picture now you're seeing this is a dam. Okay, so see this is a reservoir of a dam. Okay, this is a dam. So here you can see this is a river and there is a barrier which is constructed across a river. Okay, the barrier has been constructed across the river. So right now what you're seeing is a reservoir of a dam. See, this is another kind of dam. So now you have to see the geological factors that has to be considered in the selection of a dam. Okay. So first of all, you have to consider topography, technical factors, constructions, economy, and environment. So what are the topography? What are the features that comes in a topography means? In the topography, topographically, most suitable site should be selected. So it should be a narrow valley with enough catchment to store the calculated volume of the water. So basically, what do you mean by topography? Topography means the nature of a particular area. Okay, so you might have seen there will be hilly areas. Okay, there will be say, grassy lands. Okay, there will be lands with a lot of boulders, rocky lands. Okay, so topography means it. The word topography means to study about the nature of a particular land. So for the selection of a dam site, you need to know about the topography of a particular site or topography of a particular area. Okay, so the topography should be such that it should have a narrow valley with enough catchment. Enough catchment means there should be required amount of water. Catchment indicates we should get the required amount of water. Okay, to store the calculated volume of water. So maybe it is meant to carry some 10 cubic meters. Okay, or you can say 100 cubic meters. Okay, so 100 cubic liters is 100 cubic is actually the catchment over here. Okay, the 100 cubic is the catchment or the over there. Okay, that means that much of water has to be collected at a particular site. Okay, so you can see from this picture, see, you need to get, see, this is the catchment, that is you need to get a certain, or you can say the required amount of water from the particular area. Okay, the minimum loss to the cultivable land existing construction. Okay, cause minimum damage to the public in case of failure or destruction. Okay, so there is one other thing that you have to consider, that while selecting a site we should take the special attention for the protection of the cultivable land. Okay, that means nearby this land there will be a lot of cultivation will be going on, agriculture will be going on. Okay, so people will be depending water from this river. Okay, so you should store the water in a such a way that the agriculture of the nearby area is not affected. Right? That is, you should get a proper irrigation for the agriculture or cultivation in the nearby area. Okay, and also the existing construction should never be damaged. Okay, if there is any nearby construction, it should not be damaged by the construction of the new dam, and also it should cause a very less nuisance to the public. There should not be any public damage. Okay, so that you can see if you're selecting a site, select in such a way, select in a such a way that the nearby area should not be affected by this dam. That means the cultivation should not be affected. The cultivation should have proper water. Okay, the proper water should be reached to the cultivation all the time, whether you're constructing the dam. So that's the topographical features that you have to consider. Second one is the technical factors. Okay, technically. So technical means you're talking about the engineering factors. Okay, so technical factors of a dam means you're talking about the engineering factors. So engineering factors basically means what? Uh, if you see about a dam construction, the engineering features means you can see the engineering features of the rock lying over there. Okay, engineering features of the land, that is basically the rock or the river which is lying over there. So basically engineering features means what does indicate? It indicates permeability, compressibility and shear strength. Okay, permeability. If you consider about the soil, the engineering features of a soil is permeability, compressibility and shear strength. Okay, so we can see here technical factors. So you have to see that the site should be technically sound, strong, impermeable and stable. That means the site should be very strong enough to take this dam. It should be impermeable. That is, the rock which is lying over there or the land should not allow the water to pass through it. That means it should have a hard strata. It should contain a hard strata. Okay, വെള്ളം അധികം കടത്തിവിടാൻ പാടില്ല. Okay, it should be impermeable. The land should be strong and it should be stable. Okay, that means there should not be any tectonic activities. The land should not be prone to any earthquakes or landslide. So it should be a very stable land. The strong rocks makes the job of the engineers easy. Okay, if it is a strong rock means the job is pretty easy. You can see here. See from this picture you can see. Okay, so it should contain a strong rocks. That means the basement should be very strong. Impermeable sites ensure the better storage of inventories. Okay, so if it is having impermeable strata, if the underlying rock, okay, or you can see the foundation, okay, if it is impermeable, it will lead to the a better storage of water. Okay, so always choose a hard strata so that the land will be impermeable. So impermeable site can store more water. Next one is stability. Okay, so stability means it is very important that the land should not be prone to any seismic activities. Okay, seismic, we know seismic means what? Earthquakes, landslide. Okay, so the land should not be prone to any kind of natural calamities. So imagine if there is an earthquake in such a big site. This is a dam site you are seeing. So if there is an earthquake, right, there will be the cracks will occur in this dams. Okay, in the walls of this dam the cracks will occur, which will lead to the penetrations of the water and which will be lead to the collapse of the dam with the passage of time. Okay, so always be very careful that the land should not be prone to any kind of natural calamities like earthquake, landslides, etc. Next one is construction. Okay, construction not be far from the materials which are required for the material. So dam construction. So you should choose the materials for the construction. Okay, the materials that you are using for the construction should not be from very far away places. Okay, so try to choose materials from the nearby places. Okay, try to choose materials. So normally for the dams, nowadays for the dams we are choosing concrete. Okay, concrete is one of the important materials that concrete is one of the important construction material that is used today. Okay, so if we go for a dams, we are using mass concrete. We'll say it is a mass concrete. Okay, RCC, PCC. Okay, so in older times people used to construct it with surki. So Idiki Dam and all they constructed with the surki, lime and surki. Okay, but nowadays we are not using lime or surki. For the massive constructions we are using concrete, M40 grade concrete, M30 grade concrete. Okay, so construction material is very important. Next one is economy. Okay, the benefits arising from the dams placed at a particular site should be realistic and justified in terms of a land irrigated or power generated or floods averted or water stored. Okay, so economy is very important because each and every dam it is meant to be certain purpose. That is, it is meant for the to generate hydroelectric power. It is meant for the irrigation, or it is meant for some trade, tourism, etc. Whatever it is. Okay, so we are expecting a certain amount of economy from the dam. Okay, so at the same time the money that is invested on the dam should be done in a very careful way. Okay, so we cannot say anyway dam it will cost something like crores and crores. So with each and every project we should consider the outcome. Based on the outcome, you should fix the cost of the dam. Okay, based on the outcome, you should fix the cost of the dam. Okay, so economy is also very important. Anyway, we cannot use a if it is like a small dam, like check dam will be there. Check dams are small dams. Okay, so for the for the small dams you cannot spend more money. Okay, at the same time, if it is a mass dam like arch dam, gravity dam, you have to spend money on it. Okay, so economy is also very important. Next one is environment. So last one is environment. Okay, so site where a dam is proposed to be placed or reservoir is created should not involve ecological disorder. Okay, especially in the life cycles of animal, vegetations, and man. Okay, so this we have studied in the design engineering. I have already taught you about this. Okay, that is it is. So now that I told you, like they are having a group that is professional engineers group. Okay, so professional engineers group, what they're actually doing is that their innovation should be in a such a way that they are not causing any disorder to the environment. Okay, so every person in this world has a right to live, even including animals and vegetation. Okay, every life has a right to live. Okay, so you should make our innovations or what are the construction that you are making should be in such a way that it is not causing any disorder to the environment. Okay, so environment here also you have to take care. The dam site should not affect the life cycle of animals, vegetations, or other human beings. Okay, now coming to the geological characters or geological factors that involves the investigation of a dam. Okay. So geological factors, first thing you have to consider about the geology of an area. Okay, geology of an area. So geology of an area from here, sorry, geological factors. First you have to see the geology of the area, or you can say geology of the dam site. So geology basically refers to the topographical features at the site. Okay, the topography, what kind of land it is, whether it is a hilly land, whether it is a plain land. So whatever it is, a river valley, what is a strata, how is it a strong strata, whether it is a loose soil. Okay, so all this geological, topographical nature of the land. Okay, the nature of the land should be studied. Okay, and we have to see whether it is a natural drainage patterns. Okay, that means drainage means basically it refers to the river. Okay, so you have to see the river patterns, how that catchment will go. Okay, how the river is flowing, how much of amount, all these things you have to consider here. Next one is a rock formation. Okay, that is here you have to see the stratification, folding, faulting, and igneous intrusion. Okay, so in this figure you can see here, see the bottom, you can see the rocks are there. Okay, the dam is constructed over this impermeable strata, that is here you can see some rocks will be there. Okay, see, anyway below it there will be some kind of rocks. Okay, so you have to study the formation of this rock, that you have to study the stratification of the rock, that is stratification means layer by layer, each beds of the rock has to be studied. Folding, if there is any folding, that has to be studied. Faulting, if there is a, that also you have to study, and you have to see if it is having any igneous origin, if the igneous rocks are involved or not. Okay, so that we can study the existence of magma or existence of some kind of earth crust over there. Okay, so all these things has to be studied in the first stage, that is geology. So first of all, what you have to study, you have to study the topography of an area, you have to study about the river patterns, you have to study about the rock lying over there, its stratification, faults, and igneous intrusion. Secondly, you have to see the geology of the site. Okay, so first of all, I'm telling, for example, I'm choosing a site, I'm deciding to construct a dam at Idki. Okay, so Idikil, I have to study about the whole district first. That is the nature of the district. Okay, whether how is that how what kind of district it is, whether it is a hilly area, okay, whether it is a city or whether it is a hilly area, what is the nature of that particular district, okay? And in that, imagine that I'm selecting a site, okay. Okay, so let's come back. Geology of the area, okay. Next, after that, I'm thinking to construct a site at a spot called as Cherudoni. Okay, imagine that I'm going to construct my dam at Cherudoni. Okay, so I have to study about the whole panchayat. Okay, how is the whole panchayat, nearby forest, everything I have to study. Okay, a full panchayat into study I have to do. Okay, whether the land is good, what kind of soil it is, all those topographical features I have to study. Okay, secondly, I have to study about the geology of a particular site. That is, at a particular point, അത് ചെറുതോണിയിൽ I'll be ഒരു particular point I'll be constructing my dam. Okay, so next is I have to study geology of that particular sites. Okay, geology of the proposed site. അതായത് if it is ചെറുതോണി എന്നുള്ള ഡിസ്ട്രിക്റ്റിലെ ഏത് പോയിന്റിലാണ് I am going to construct the dam. Okay, so I have to study about that particular site. Okay, so this is the area, I think. Okay, and this is the proposed site. Okay, okay, so second process I will study about the geology of this particular site. Okay, geology of this particular site. So in that geology I will have to study about lithology. Okay, so lithology basically it means study of the rocks. Okay, that means what kind of rock it is, what kind of material is composed in the rock, what is the chemical composition. Okay, what is the surface of the rock, what is the subsurface of the rock, what is the texture of the rock, what is the what is the composition, how it is arrived, what is the origin of this rock. Okay, so everything I have to study in detail. That is lithology. Okay, so see, imagine this is a Cherudoni. Okay, this triangle actually, sorry, this rectangle represents a Cherudoni. So I have studied about Cherudoni. Second stage, I'm going to study about this particular site because this particular site X, here I'm going to construct my site. Here I'm going to construct my dam. Okay, but e proposed site lithological features I have to study. Okay, lithological features, it involves study of the rock. That is, you have to study about the composition, texture, origin, how it is been formed. All these things you have to study in detail. Okay. Secondly, you have to study about the structures. Okay, you have to study about the structures of the site. So here it involves the detailed mapping of the planes of weakness like bedding plane, shihosity, foliation, cleavage, joints, folds, etc. Okay, so we have studied about all these features. Bedding planes, how the bedding plane is. Okay, if it is a rock, you know that bed by bed it will be aligned. Okay, bed by bed the layers will be like bed by bed. Okay, so what is how the bed is, how the inclination will be. Okay, how the bed is, how the inclination will be, all these things, whether it is foliated or not. Okay, foliation I have taught you. What is the foliation, whether it is as പൊളിഞ്ഞു പോകുന്നതാണോ, cleavage. Okay, so how the failure will be, all these things, failure of this rock. Next is whether it is having any joints, whether the site is having any kind of joints or folds, all these things, basic structures. Okay, okay, shihosity means it's actually a type, what kind of foliation is occurring over there. Okay, what kind of foliation is occurring. Foliations means പൊളിഞ്ഞു പൊളിഞ്ഞു പോകുന്നത്. Okay, പൊളിഞ്ഞു പൊളിഞ്ഞിട്ടുള്ള ആ ഒരു ടെക്സ്റ്റ് I have shown you with the picture. Okay, so the mode of like what kind of foliation it is, that is shihosity. Cleavage എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ you know the failure planes. Okay, pinna joints, faults, all these things, all these different features, different structures of rocks you have to study. Okay, coming to the faults. So faults means the shattering and joints along the axial planes and trussing of the limbs. Okay, so dams aligned along the axial region of the faults would be resting on most unsound rocks in terms of strength. Okay, so we have to see that if a particular site is having, if your proposed site is having a fault. Okay, so you have to make sure that the dams is not aligned along the axial region of the folds. Okay, the dam should not be aligned along the axial region of the fold. Okay, if the dams are aligned along the axial region of the folds, it would be resting on the most unsound rocks in terms of strength. Okay, അതായത് see if this is the fault. Okay, if this is a fault, നമ്മുടെ dam it should not be aligned. This is the axial region. Okay, so this is the axial region. അപ്പം the dam should not be aligned along the axial region. Okay, the dam ഈ ഒരു പോർഷനിൽ അലൈൻ ചെയ്യാൻ പാടില്ല. Okay, the dam should not be aligned along this axial region of the fold. Okay, if it is aligned along the axial region, it means that it is going to be very unsound in terms of strength. That means strength of the dam will be very less. Okay, if a particular site, if it is containing any kind of faults, make sure that your dam is not constructed along the axial regions of the fault. Okay, so there will be some faults like this. See, you can see some here also some faults like this. Okay, so these are the axial regions. For each axial regions, like, you should not align your dams. Next is synclinal bends. Dams placed on the upstream limbs would run the risk of leakage from beneath the dam. Okay, that means, so this is synclinal faults. Okay, so this is synclines. Okay, you know this is a synclines. Appi synclines la, if the dam is constructed across this upstream limbs. Okay, if the dams is constructed across this upstream limbs, ഈ മുകളിലേക്ക് പോകുന്ന ലിംസിൽ if you construct dams, there is a chance of leakage. There is a chance of leakage. Okay, so such sites should also be avoided. Okay, so dam should be aligned properly. Okay, on a hard strata. Okay, it should not be aligned along the axial regions of the folds. At the same time, it should not be aligned along the upstream limbs of a syncline fold. Next, you have to see about the dip and strike. So here the first point is shattering and join along axial planes and stressing of the lead. Next, we have to see the dip and strike. Okay, the strength of a sound unstratified rock is always greater when the stresses are acting normal to the bedding planes than in other direction. Okay, so see, so if this is the bedding planes, imagine the rock is like this. Okay, so see here you can see this is a rock. So this rock is actually stratified. Okay, that means it is layer by layer. Okay, so if the force is acting normal to it, okay, if the force is acting normal to it, okay, now this is one kind of rock. There is another kind of rock which is unstratified. That means the rock is not stratified. Unstratified എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ അവിടെ See, I can show you the picture like uh, unstratified nana. In the you can see here. See here. This see this site. Huh? So here the rock is not stratified. Here the rock is unstratified. Okay. അതായത് layer by layer ലല്ല rock deposit ചെയ്തിട്ടുള്ളത്. Here you can see the rock occurs as a huge mass. Okay. So here it is not deposited as a rock. So ഇതുപോലുള്ള ഒരു unstratified rock if the load is applied, which will take more strength. Okay. Which will take more strength. The stratified rocks, if you are applying a load normal, unstratified rocks, if you are applying load more, if you are applying load normally, which will be more, which will have more strength. Okay. Load apply, I meant that if the dam is constructed. Okay. If a particular dam is constructed means if a dam is constructed, then it is exerting load on the rocks. Okay. Which will be more strong. Which will be more. Tell me. So always this unstratified will be having more strength. Okay, so I'm asking the questions, I'm telling the answers. Okay, so this unstratified rock, it can take more loads compared to this stratified rocks. Okay, this unstratified rocks, it can take more rocks compared to that of stratified one. Okay, now generally the upstream dipping layers offer better resistance to the resultant forces of the dam. The most unfavorable strike condition is the one in which the bed strikes parallel to the axis of the dam and dip is downstream. Okay, so see here. So you can see in this picture. So this is a rock strata. Okay, this is the foundation, that is a rock strata. So this is the dam which is constructed. Okay, this is the dam which is constructed, and this dot line is water. Okay, this is a water. Okay, now here you can see in this picture A, they have indicated. Okay, so this A, it actually indicates the rock strata, that is a bedded rock strata, it is indicated. Okay, now so here where will be the dip and where will be the strike? Okay, where is the dip and where is the strike in this case? Can you tell me? So here you can see that it is horizontally aligned. The rock strata, it has been horizontally aligned. Okay, rock strata is horizontally aligned. So horizontally aligned എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞു കഴിഞ്ഞാല് the dip will be along the first strike will be along that horizontal line and ഒരു inclination, dip എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ inclination with the horizontal, അതായിരിക്കും അതിന്റെ dip എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. Okay. Okay, I'll tell it first, you will tell it, then you will understand that picture. Okay, so here we are telling about the most favorable and unfavorable condition in terms of dip and strike. Okay, so in case of a strike, the most unfavorable condition is when the bed strikes parallel to the axis of the dam. So imagine if this is the dam. Okay, if this is the dam. Okay, and this will be the bed. Okay, this is the bed. Imagine this is the bed. Okay, if bed strikes parallel to the axis of the dam. Okay, that means so here in this case idana strike nu virika. If this is strike and this will be the dip. Okay, this is strike and this is dip. Okay, the horizontal element will strike and the inclination will be dip. Okay, so here you can see, suppose if this is the axis of the dam. If this is axis of the dam, okay, if axis of the dam is strike parallel ആണെങ്കിൽ, okay, axis of the strike axis of the dam strike parallel ആണെന്നുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ, and if the dip is in the downstream, Okay, so ഡാമിന്റെ കേസിൽ upstream is the downstream is there. So upstream എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ from the where water is taking, അതാണ് upstream എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. വാട്ടർ ഒഴുകി പോകുന്ന ആ tail endനാണ് you are calling it as downstream. Okay, see this side, like for example, okay, ഇങ്ങനെ the water is flowing like this. Okay, water is flowing like this. Okay, so the water flow is in this direction. So this is called as upstream side and this is called as downstream side. Okay, so if the dip is in the downstream side, dip downstream side lekana varunnovengil, that is taken as most unfavorable condition. Okay, so what is the most unfavorable condition? First one is that if the strike is parallel to the axis of the dam. Okay, if the strike is parallel to the axis of the dam, at the same time dip is in the downstream, so that is also taken as unfavorable condition. Okay, now gently upstream dipping layers offer better resistance to the resultant forces of the dam. Okay, upstream dipping layers. Okay, so if the dipping is occurring somewhat in the upstream side, okay, if the dipping is somewhat occurring, this is the upstream side. Okay, but dipping if it is occurs in the upstream side, it will give more resistance to the forces in the dam. Okay, if it is upstream dipping angle, it will give more resistance to the resultant forces, or you can say it will give more resistance to the forces in the dam. Okay, that is in case of dip and strike. Okay, so in this picture they have shown you three figures, that is A, B and C. So A indicates the most favorable condition, B indicates unstable conditions, and C indicates safe against resultant force. Okay, നമുക്ക് നോക്കാം in detail. First one, in this picture they have shown the rock as stratified rocks. Okay, ഒരു stratified ആയിട്ടുള്ള rock ആണിത്. So here's a horizontal bedding and this is a stable condition. See, here the dip strike, it is not causing any kind of damages. It's not causing any kind of damages. Dip strike, everything is in a safe situation. Okay, because horizontal ആണ്, it's okay. Okay, horizontal ആണ്, it's okay condition. നമുക്കറിയാം most favorable condition എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ that is unstratified rocks. Unstratified rocks are a very good condition, but we are also choosing stratified rock for the construction of the dam. Just is we have to be more careful in the construction of the dam. Okay, okay, so here you can see in this picture, it is a horizontal bedded rocks. Okay, if this is a horizontal bedded rock in the case, it will be a stable condition. Okay, this is taken as a stable condition. Now if this rock strata, here you can see all the rock stratas are parallel. Okay, if this is inclined like this, if the rock strata is inclined like this, okay, downstream like dip ചെയ്ത് പോവാണ്. Okay, downstream dipping, അതായത് താഴത്തേക്ക് ഇങ്ങനെ ചെരിഞ്ഞു പോകുന്നതാണ് downstream dipping. You can see from this picture. See, കണ്ടോ ഇങ്ങനെ താഴത്തേക്കാണ് ഇത് പോകുന്നത്, downstream dipping. താഴേക്ക് ഇങ്ങനെ ചെരിഞ്ഞു പോയി കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ it is taken as unstable condition. It is taken as unstable condition. Coming to the C, here upstream dipping. Okay, so the dip is again top like this here. And to say upstream leg, it is going up. Okay, so if it dip is going up, that means dipping is along the along upstream leg ആണ് ഇങ്ങനെ പോകുന്നത്. That is strata of the rock that is along the upstream side. So this is safe against a resultant force. So resultant force will be properly balanced over here. Okay, resultant force will be properly balanced over here. Okay, so I can explain you this in the next class. Okay, don't worry about this. കുറച്ച് കാര്യം കൂടെ പറയാനുണ്ട്. So you will understand it better. So you can post your name to mark the attendance now.